Hello everybody, my name is Lewis Crompton and this is not financial advice. Have you noticed how the property empire is actually just a pyramid scheme? Maybe you are looking to get into property, maybe you are already a property investor and you're wondering what it is all about and how you should do it. I have been a property investor now for over 6 years and I'm going to reveal the pyramid scheme behind property investing. And I'm going to be sharing with you what I believe to be the best way to do property investment in 2022, which is where we are right now. And I'm going to look at what's going to happen in the future as well. So if you want to learn about how to do money better, how to make more of it in less time, then like this video, subscribe to the channel and click that alerts button somewhere on the page as well. Now, I was only able to get started in property because of two things. Number one was my network, and number two was the capital that I had created, that I had generated through successfully trading financial markets. The success I had in trading led me to connect with other investors and it opened up the door for me to property investing. What I am noticing is that a lot of property investors who have done it the other way around, meaning they started off, first of all, their investing journey with property, they now realize how hard a work it is, how many moving parts there are, how stressful it can be, and how it can be quite a long old road before you actually make any profit in property. And that's why they've then decided to get in contact with me to learn how to generate an income stream, an additional income stream by trading financial markets. Now, there isn't really a right way of starting your investment journey. As long as you start, that's the key thing. We need you to start. And if you're going to start, you really need to get clear on what is the best strategy for you to begin with. For me, it was trading. And I chose trading as my initial wealth building strategy because of a few different factors. Number one, it was low time commitment. I personally only trade now for less than 30 minutes per day, and that's what my students do as well. It has high returns, between 60% and sometimes over 100% per year for educated traders. And I was able to do it anywhere, as long as I had a laptop and an internet connection. But the biggest draw for me, which really made it stand out, was that there was only me and the market involved. No tenants, no landlord, no people to have to make sure they were doing their job, just me and the market, nice and simple. So, why is property a pyramid scheme? I'm going to look at this in two different angles. The first is looking at the property market itself, the industry itself. The second will be the process of property investing. That will make more sense shortly what I mean by that. So I was recently reading an article about the property market, and it made the very clear point that the property market relies on a high influx of people at the lower end of that property market. So it has to come from there. And that justifies and warrants the higher prices at the higher end of the market. Now, without that demand happening at the lower levels, the demand at the top is also going to be less. Ultimately, at the top, you have the government, don't worry, I'm not getting into conspiracy stuff here, who benefit from a growing property market. Just as the housing market was looking like it was cooling off, starting to calm down, and actually cooling down a little bit faster than was anticipated, the government released incentives for free money for first-time buyers, those people at the lower end, to encourage them to come into the market. So how does that benefit the pyramid scheme that is property? How does that benefit those at the top? How do you drive up demand and therefore also drive up prices? What you do is you create scarcity, or you create lack of a particular resource. Now, the UK has been in a supposed housing crisis for many, many years. I do believe we are in one. And guess what? We still are. Population increases, more people need homes to live in, there are not enough homes to live in, and therefore the price goes up. And who benefits from that? Is it the poor? No. Is it the middle class? No. Is it those at the top? Probably. And guess what? It is incredibly difficult to get planning permission on homes in most parts of the country. Explain that to me if we're in the middle of a housing crisis. I wonder what may be behind the decision to build less housing than is actually needed. It's economics 101. For example, in London, it's been estimated that we are building around 14,000 too few homes each year to meet the housing demands and housing requirements that are increasing in London. And that's not just a story in London. This, by the way, is also not an attack on landlords. It is an attack and a critique of the system itself. A system which, when you truly look at it, seems to benefit very few, and I'm not talking about landlords, and make life tough for the many. Worse than that, if we are facing the oncoming of the worst economic recession, as many people are calling it, in our lifetime, in many people's lifetime, then all the government schemes at the lower end of the income bracket are going to royally mess up people financially. The ones who will survive and weather the storm are the financially literate and those with a skill set to make money even when economies and financial markets and all those sorts of things are crashing. For me and my students, that skill is trading. You can call me Noah because it's my lifeboat, my ark is trading, because I can make money as markets go up and down. Again, don't think this is easy for landlords. They're just an easy target. I am one. I've been called all sorts of things, even though I work hard to provide quality accommodation to some of the most vulnerable in society, to people who are not even able to afford to purchase a home, may never be able to afford to do that, and who sometimes can't even pay their rent. Taxes on landlords have gone up. Forced entry into paid council schemes, supposedly to improve the area, have increased with no actual improvements to the area, because the problem is a small section of slum landlords who don't even opt into or pay those schemes or pay their taxes or anything like that. What do you lose by taking action to increase the level of peace and satisfaction in life by learning a system which can make you financially free? Arguably, the process of investing in property is also a pyramid scheme. At the bottom, we have stuff which is benefiting the top, and I would love to hear what you think about that. Let me know in the comments. Now, there is another pyramid scheme going on in the property sector, and this is one that I subscribe to. Why? Because it works and you can work it too. Now, this property pyramid scheme is all about how it is that you can build wealth through property. Some of my property friends will disagree with me in terms of the levels that I have here, and that's okay. Again, my goal is to bring you financial peace, financial knowledge, not stress. Although whenever we start something new, a little bit of stress is a very natural thing as we get to grips with it. Now, this pyramid scheme is a great way for you to start to invest in property. No, I'm not talking about a network marketing thing. That's not what I'm on about. Now, if you're going to invest in property, then start with the lower risk properties. Those are your buy-to-lets, BTLs for short, meaning you buy the property to then rent it out. Very simple. Now, this is for individual family let, and this is the foundation of your wealth building pyramid, your triangle. The thing that you should start with is the lower risk option, because you will make some mistakes. So make them with a smaller property with lower money involved. The first property I ever purchased only cost me £26,000. Can you believe? It was a buy to let. It did need a fair amount of work doing it to bring it up to standard, to bring it up to scratch. And I later actually sold that property as I needed the money for a larger deal as I worked my way through this property investing pyramid. Going through the buying process, going through the renovation process, going through the mortgage process, and then tenanting your property puts you in a really good position with a really strong foundation of knowledge around how the property market works. After this, you move up to the next layer of the pyramid, and here you have multi-lets and you have HMOs. HMO stands for houses of multiple occupation. Now, these are properties where instead of renting out the whole thing to one family, you rent out each room individually. Now, this is often used for students or professionals. You can actually watch my previous video with Tom Heaney where I talk about all the different variations there are to property investing, and particularly his speciality, which is HMOs. Now, this can come with more risk, so the higher up we go, the more risk there is, which is why, in my opinion, it is better to get yourself some buy-to-lets under your belt first. The other thing I want to say about property is that the time of buying just one property as an investment and relying on that for your pension into the future is a terrible idea. It's over. That time is over. There is so much that can happen with a property that if you have just one, you are in a really bad position. For example, last week I got a message from my letting agent to inform me that one of my buy-to-lets has had a shower leak, but it's been going on for a while and they didn't spot it, and it's leaked for that period of time, causing more damage than it should have done to the property. It's even damaged one of the joists. Now that damage is going to cost me around about £5,000 to fix. That is nearly a year's worth of rent for that property. Not even profit. Just rent. It is about 2 years worth of profit from the property. If I only had that one property, then that would really sting, or it would take me out of the game entirely, or I would have to put myself into debt in order to pay for it. Thankfully, I have trading, and I have just taken money out of my trading account to cover and pay for that particular problem within property. Trading has bailed me out of property problems on a number of occasions now. That is why it is so good to have multiple properties or multiple streams of income that take care of you when other things go wrong within particular ones. It creates financial peace of mind if you have that. Now, as we move past the HMO and multi-let level, we get into other types of deal like flips. That's where you buy a property, you renovate it, and then you sell it on straight away for a profit. And that's a really good way to generate cash if it works well. I have done a flip. I started my first ever flip deal the week before COVID and lockdown happened, and it caused me to end up losing around about £30,000. Painful. Yeah. Now again, I'm very glad that I had trading to support me through that time. And as we go up another level, we have the small development type stuff within the property sector. Now that may be building a couple of houses, converting a house to a set of flats, or it may be some form of commercial to residential project. Now that is when you take something like a pub and you turn it into flats, or it may be a old people's home which is no longer used and you turn that into flats as well. Now the next level up from there is more of the same, but on a larger scale, and developing whole sites of land, whole housing complexes, whole blocks of flats and that type of thing. Maybe building even a shopping centre. Now I personally wouldn't advise starting too high on that ladder, even if you are already incredibly wealthy. There are easier and less stressful ways for you to make your money versus that high level of property investing. Trading, for example. Now as you progress up the property investing pyramid, the money required is higher and the level of risk is also higher. It also becomes more complicated and it's going to demand more of your time, and you really need to know your stuff. Property investment is so far from being a passive income stream. It makes me laugh when people talk about it as being passive. It's not. I have it pretty much passive, as I have teams for everything and I choose to stay at the lower end of the property pyramid, but I still require putting my time in, putting my thought in, take some of my stress and my energy. I wonder if you agree or if you disagree with anything I've said in this video. Either way, I would love to know. So drop me your views, drop me your opinions, drop me your comments below. I want to see them. And if you want to learn more about how to do money better, how to make more of it in less time, then like this video, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications for when videos come out. Make sure you also share this video with someone you think it can help or it can inspire or challenge, because my name is Lewis Crumpton and this is not financial advice.